We're making some progress. If you're just doing a check-in, here's a very quick status screen for us today. We do definitely have a, level 87 Cloud, followed by some 85 characters. Mutual party level is roughly around 85 to 86, as you can kind of see here. Some are a little bit lower, like level 70. It's mainly because they haven't been in the party, but since the way that the game works is they generally give them a portion of experience, roughly what you get with the rest of your party. So they aren't completely out of the loop. I really like that mechanic because it means that when you switch out party members and you haven't been using them completely, they do level up. That way you're just like, oh no, I've gotten stuck with a party member. We're gonna go ahead and make you have Eric, and you haven't had her in your party since basically the beginning of the game. Oh, last time she was in your party, you were level 13. Oh, we're so sorry. Here's a level 13 character, and you're sitting there like, I'm in an area where I need level 30 something characters. Come on. So that was a great mechanic. I think it originated years ago, maybe even before Chrono Trigger, because Chrono Trigger did that for a while. They understood that when you get stuck with certain characters in your party, then obviously, something has to be done. And meeting that expectation is awesome. I'm just quickly trying to level. I'm not too worried about everybody else's level. Just trying to rush up to level 99, as well as leveling up my materia. Okay, sitting right now as my materia is, I pretty much have given up on trying to level up anything other than the counterattack. But it keeps on going up. Some summons are still leveling up. As you kind of see, I kind of have a bunch of empty slots, which just seems like such a waste. And so I'm probably gonna fill these real quick if I can with some all. Simply because all is, I can just sell, and it doesn't really serve a purpose otherwise. And that's mastered all. That's another mastered all. And let's take a look. Yeah, none of these alls have anything on them. And then I'm gonna throw all here because why not? And she has a magic shuriken and enemy skill for whatever goddamn reason. I'm just gonna put this other enemy skill on her. I forget. Does this actually... This is normal. Never mind. I'm actually gonna put that back on because enemy skill on her would be fine. I'm gonna remove this one and I'm just gonna put the all there because honestly, my alls don't have to all be doing this. Let's put this on. And Kujata is almost there. Two counterattacks in the third, okay. And that's elemental. I'm just gonna put all there. I'm just gonna put... It's very weird because one has beta and the other one has for suicide. Take the one with beta. Alright, moving on. Basically, I did that so all of my all would level up at the same time. I could just replace all at once instead of having variations of this. Actually, I didn't mean to hit that button. when you saw the help button or menu open, you know, I didn't actually mean to hit that. Generally, I leave that off for like the entire game, unless I'm really curious. Kind of do stuff blindly. I understand that it has like all sorts of status, it tells you who you target and names of enemies, but I'm not really interested in all that. If and when I do another playthrough, I may consider leaving that on like the entire time I play. That way people can see what I'm actually doing. And it makes me a little bit easier when I use Sense. And just moving along a little bit at a time. I'm always going to make note of these things. They always bug the hell out of me. The fact that they're, well, birds. Very funny, right? No, because, like I said, first thing about RPG logic is you always fight wildlife, no matter where you go. The exception here is Final Fantasy VII does not start you fighting off the wildlife because you're in a damn city. So the things that you fight are like machines and soldiers. So your first enemy in the game is actually a soldier, which seems pretty logical, but then like subsequent enemies are machines and mutations and things that you don't expect, like houses. Yeah. Things that I wouldn't really say are wildlife at all. When you progress through the game a little bit, in this game in particular, you start encountering, once you get out of the town, actual creatures. Like, actual wildlife creatures. And I mean, you start off with fighting like squirrels, and ostriches, and elephants, and eventually snakes, and, like, dragons, and, well, if you really consider them dragons, they're kind of small dragons. Stuff like that, you know. And you progress, and you start finding like bats and like, other stuff. You know, you eventually get to the more like familiar like creatures the further you go like west in this game for whatever reason. And it's really funny considering you start on the east side of the map in Midgar, and you're making your journey west. I know that sounds very funny and messed up, but it's kind of like the journey west. You go west to go east. You know, you go all the way west as far as you can to, you know, go on a giant quest, and then realize that you need to go other directions once you reach your destination. And right now, I'm the furthest west that you can go at this point in the game. I understand that if you get there, you can go on the other side of this mountain range or completely circle the globe, but I'm not going to worry about that. I've tried to go west, more or less. And it's a long path. It's a long trek, many hours spent doing this. Some of which people have noticed that my hours in the game are pretty long. I'm guessing that I was spending like 30 or 40 hours for the game because of the way that's set up. Nope, 25 hours. Oh, what do you know? I thought it would have been more. Mainly because the grinding takes forever. Alright, yay! This isn't actually going to be that long of a video. It might only be like an hour long. The reason why I'm doing it kind of short is because I have some things to take care of, and I might be back a bit later. Usually, these sessions are almost 2 hours long. but unfortunately, due to circumstances of situations kind of outside of my realm of expertise, and out of actual obligations, I need to take care of those. One in particular is to move my car. Oh yay. I almost did it before my video, but unfortunately, there was a problem with actually having it beforehand. So, not a problem. It's been diverted, and I was able to do it. And we have more birds. I don't know why. I generally associate birds now with lightning as plus. Which is really weird. Mainly because I keep on thinking of like things in terms of like RPG logic and like Pokemon. What are Pokemon weak against? They're flying. Electricity. Why is something flying with electricity and immune to electricity? This is weird. But at the same point, it kind of makes sense. I mean, when was the last time you ever saw a bird get hit by lightning? Like, when it's flying. Does it kill it? Does it stun it? Does the bird blink? It's a question I really have. I'm kind of curious. I mean, more so than probably what I should be. Alright, moving on a little bit. My hopes are to gain probably about 2 levels in this video, but I don't know how many levels I will actually gain. It might be less, it might be more, it depends on all sorts of things. Right now, I started the video with them not having too much difference in experience, like I said, 87 to 85. And we're moving on. I think somebody asked me why I didn't have a camera going while I'm actually playing. The reason why I actually don't have a camera for my PS4 is because I just simply don't own one. I had one for the PlayStation 3, I think it's like the PlayStation Eye, or whatever the hell it's called. And the camera isn't that great. So rather than giving people, you know, subpar camera to make it try to be functional, I'd rather just not, and give people the benefit of the doubt, and just give into their imagination what I actually look like. I think that's part of the creativity behind live streams and any uploaded video is if you don't actually show what you look like, the person can only imagine what you look like. It's much like if somebody were reading an audiobook. You don't really know what the person looks like unless their face is on something that you saw, or you looked them up or whatever. You know? In which case, I think this is definitely a plus. Now, it's a mystery behind the voice. Kind of like the Wizard of Oz. Almost. You know, if you don't know who the voice is, then
why even bother? You know, trying to guess. Like, you don't absolutely need to know what they look like. Just think about all those famous voice actors for like video games and in anime, and even animated movies. You know, you didn't need to know the voice. Though sometimes it was really popular people, but other times not always. You know, but there's so many things that can go wrong with it. You don't get as much recognition. People don't recognize you. That kind of stuff happens. Like you know somebody simply by their name and not by, you know, their face. You know, it's really interesting because I believe there's plenty of studies out there where they're like, well, if you just use your voice, people will imagine what you look like. And sometimes it's good and sometimes bad. And a lot of times people are just completely wrong. You know, people don't imagine, you know, a person with a beautiful voice being, you know, unbeautiful. Or, you know, somebody with a, you know, kind of ugly voice as being beautiful. You know, it just kind of happens. And some critics may even say that having a strong, bolsterous voice and confidence behind your voice makes you sound more manly or something like that. You know, I think it's a lot of bullshit sometimes, but at the same time, it is what people expect. And what happens when you actually do come out, like, and actually say that you are the voice of somebody, or some character, or whatever, the voice behind the mask, as I would put it, sometimes people don't want to believe it, because they're like, no, that can't be you. And then when you do the voice, they're like, oh my god. Sometimes it's awesome when you do that. Other times, some people get upset. Because you have just validated that their assumptions about the entire situation were wrong, and that reality is very different. Likewise, the whole notion of beauty in itself is a complete bolsterous lie, and usually the people who end up becoming successful in those fields of like acting and, you know, the music industry are based a lot on their appearance and not very well much on their actual personality. I'm pretty sure everybody kind of knows about all those famous singers who went through transformations, and they're like, oh my god. Like, and anybody who's ever watched American Idol will know what I mean. The voice can be very beautiful, and the physical appearance of the person could not be. And vice versa. And the only reason why we believe that the two are correlated is because we've been fed it. Year after year. But that has also been kind of subverted by shows like American Idol or America's Got Talent or whatever, you know. Even voice acting industry, I'm just going to point out, like, the anime industry very much touches base on that, where some of the voice actors are not very attractive by any means, but their voices are important and very popular. You know, I want to point out certain people like Chuck Hubert and Chris Sabat as plain examples of male voice actors who aren't necessarily physically attractive. At least to most people, anyway. They're not physically attractive to most people. But their voices are so recognizable. They've done so many important roles. And you pick up any, like, anime by Funimation, almost guaranteed to get, you know, Chris Sabat's voice. His most notable roles were from Dragon Ball Z, when he did Piccolo and Vegeta's voice. Which are very important, you know, because those are two main characters. And people might be thinking, why does he do two voices? Why doesn't he just do one? Well, Funimation hasn't always been, loaded with money or anything like that, and he offered to do both the voices. And he did them different enough that they were distinctive enough. But some people don't necessarily like him as a voice actor. Some think that he's absolutely the most horrible voice actor, and that's why they can only watch the Japanese sub, So, Japanese audio with English subtitles, and it's the only way to watch any anime because they can't stand his voice. Well, I personally favor his voice. I think he did a wonderful job in Dragon Ball Z, and I also think he did a wonderful job in both Ouran High School Host Club and Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. He did an amazing job. I could not picture Kurogane from Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle without his voice. That's how distinctive it is. So, it's so important. Me, myself, I do not see myself going into voice acting anytime soon. I am actually in the teaching field, not actually anything else. My goal is to teach children, not how to voice act, not even really to act. Choices. I'll just remove this for the time being. So, it's very odd that anybody would ever try to put a label on that. On being, beautiful based off of voice. That's like, associating beauty with success. The beautiful aren't always successful. Just like the successful aren't always beautiful. And a lot of times, our media tries to portray the people who are unsuccessful as not being beautiful, and those that are successful as beautiful. Okay, now when you go into stuff like the modeling industry, that's a little bit different, But when we're talking about stuff like tech giants, or, hardworking Americans who do good stuff and become successful because of hard work, it's not because they were beautiful, it was because they worked hard. And a lot of people tend to forget that. Hard work does not equate beauty. Now, if you're looking for internal beauty, that's a little bit different, but outward beauty is what I'm talking about here. I would say that in most cases, if anybody knows me personally, they would say, well, he's not that attractive. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not really all that attractive. But I'm also not as hardworking as some of my peers. At least I feel like I'm not. But then some people do, in my opinion, have innate ability. For whatever reason, just tends to come up a lot more often than I really like it to. And having that resounding way of approaching a situation. The problem is that with me, I actually have to rationalize what I'm doing. Why do I get up every morning? Well, I get up every morning so I can do what I need to do, get done. I'm not the type of person that's just going to be laying in bed and be like, oh, I can do that later. 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, 20 more minutes. It's really become a problem for some people. I completely understand. For me, I'm just like, my alarm clock goes off in the morning, and I might lay in bed for like another like 5 minutes, but that's about it. I can't do anything beyond that unless I'm gonna go back to bed. Okay, but if I have stuff to do, like if I set my alarm clock and I have to be out the door by 7, I don't give myself 5 minutes in bed. I'm usually out of bed immediately. I get out of bed and I get shit done, which is an amazing thing. I know some people just can't do it, and I've been blessed with the ability to just kind of get up in the morning and so forth. Likewise, at night, I could just, lay down and basically fall asleep. Like, it doesn't even take me like 10 minutes to fall asleep when I lay down usually. And I don't know what it is. There's just something about it. Like, my internal clock is, in my opinion, well adjusted, but at the same time, there are some nights of the week, I'll just point this out, like last night, which was a Friday night, where I stayed up until like 12:30 in the morning. For some of you might not think that's late or anything like that, but when you're waking up on a regular basis at 6:30 in the morning, I can't do it. I can't function on 6 hours of sleep usually, and so I generally try to get closer to 7. Now this sounds really bad because the Friday nights usually are decent. At 12:30, not really all that late for me. In my opinion, the reason why I end up going to bed isn't because I'm necessarily tired, but because I know I have to get up in the morning. But then there's also the situations where, like, Saturday nights for me. I usually go to bed between 2 and like 3:30 in the morning. It's a lot later than what I'm used to, and getting back on track for Monday morning to get up at 6:30 in the morning is quite challenging sometimes. But at the same time, the only reason why I stay up is not because I necessarily want to myself, but because others around me are up that late. If I had a choice in the matter, I would be like, well, I want to start doing what we're going to do earlier, and I want to finish earlier. Due to all sorts of factors, that just is not possible. My friends work until like 6 o'clock, or I think 5 o'clock actually, and then they want to get food, and they don't want to start doing anything until roughly about, 7:30. And in some cases, it's not necessarily always work. Sometimes they just don't want to start before then. Plus, parking near their place is a hassle before like 6 o'clock. So, ideally, the time that I would rather start is I would rather start somewhere around like 4, maybe even 3, and be done with it by like 10, 11 o'clock. But they don't see it that way. They see it as, I just want to get out of it. So I go into group mentality and I stick around there. Thank goodness that there is a parking restriction that if we're parked in the area past 2 a.m. They start ticketing people. And so what I usually do is like, well, I needed to go before they ticket my car. It's the best reason to leave. Unfortunately, not everybody part of this group of friends wants to leave at that time. One walked there because they live like 2 blocks away. Another lives like about a block away. And I'm just like, well, that's great. You guys get the joy of, walking here. I unfortunately did not walk here. I live like a mile away. And mind you, the reason why I'm not walking to this location is because currently the temperature is below freezing, especially at night, and I have a roommate who doesn't like walking home in the dark. So I generally just traverse the distance by walking, or not by walking, by driving. And I really do hope that it gets better, but it doesn't always work that way. Yep. Slowly working my characters through. And we're about halfway through this video, which is nice. When I look through this, it just takes a while. But getting off the topic of this, planning stuff out, in particular, the sleep schedule, I'm going to actually talk about something a little bit different, because not everybody wants to have that sleep cycle. I understand that. And some may be watching this at like noon, some may be watching this after they get off work in the evening for whatever reason. Some may be watching this past midnight. You know, I don't know who my viewers are, if they're, you know, college students, high school students, middle school students, you know, working adults, you know, unemployed adults. I don't really know. You know, for all I know, it could be somebody who, you know, is just kind of curious what I do. I know my videos are kind of boring and not all that great, and the grind is really annoying. And when I do my next playthrough, whenever that is, I'll probably cut out all of my videos where I grind enemies, because grinding enemies is a slow, tedious process. Not everybody really wants to know about how it goes. I'm pretty notorious for grinding and being happy for the most part, but I like to talk. That's an important thing. And that's kind of weird, and it's the main problem that I have. Sometimes this game's grinding is a lot easier. I find it way easier to grind on console games than handhelds. For whatever reason, I just can't really do it on handhelds. It's just, maybe it's how I grew up and how I was introduced to the grinding concept of video games. But, like, I have, like, Chrono Trigger and, like, Pokemon games on the DS, or 3DS, whichever you like to call it, because technically Chrono Trigger's on the DS, and Pokemon X and Omega Ruby are on the 3DS. But I can't grind very well. I just don't have any, you know, interest. Mainly because the goal of grinding is you're defeating Pokemon to gain levels. That's your only objective. They'll learn moves, whatever. But it's a slow, tedious process, because depending on situations, you might have evolutions, you might have them trying to learn moves, and what do if every time you level up, your Pokemon wants to learn a move? Well, you tell it no, and whatever. Well, in this case, you can go ahead and be like, oh, I'm just going to hit X, or O, whichever version you're playing, so this one's X, and I can just get through everything I need to, and it will have absolutely no consequence. You learn things automatically, you don't really lose anything. Whereas, like, Pokemon is a give and take scenario. And I understand that. I really just, I don't like taking that extra time to do stuff. Sometimes it's important, sometimes it's not. Most of this game for me is a lot of muscle memory, whereas Pokemon is not. Pokemon's more of a mental thing, where you actually have to strategically figure out what you're doing. And for button presses versus, like, you know, muscle memory and stuff like that, it does a lot more, you know, thinking than muscle memory. Whereas when I am playing games like Final Fantasy or like the other games I played, like Nippon Ichi Software games, those are kind of strategy based, but for the most part, when you're doing the grinding, it's based off of muscle memory, which is really screwy when you really think about it, considering it's supposed to be a strategy RPG. And a strategy RPG is less of a strategic point when you're grinding than an actual, like, kids RPG, if that makes any sense. And I'm just blown away. You know, and you have to understand, I'm so surprised about this. Like, I really do love playing Pokemon to a degree, but there's some things about it that I just can't get over. The exclusivity of legendaries kind of make me upset. Mind you, they're doing a better job of this. Now we're in the 2016. They're doing all sorts of events. They had the event for oh god, I'm trying to remember the name of Pokemon. Just came out a while ago. It was the final Pokemon. Why am I blanking on this? Oh my god. Anyway, it was out for a while. I think it was Hoopa. Yeah, it's Hoopa. Given out via McDonald's in North America, which is really weird. But then they also did some other things, like for the month of February, it is new, but you have to go to GameStop and get a like scratch card thing. It's very strange, and it's only good for like the first like 25 or so days, like to get it. Or well, they actually have the cards. They're very useful. I remember when they were doing Diancie and the Heracross Pinsir event. Mind you, that was 2014, I think. So they're kind of far in between, but they're alternating between like an online Pokemon and a GameStop Pokemon every other month, which is kind of cool. Because one of the Pokemon on there is something I don't actually have. I do not have a Manaphy. And a lot of people are like, you filled out your national dex. How do you not have a Manaphy? I was like, well, because the national dex actually technically excludes a lot of event Pokemon. In particular, Manaphy has been excluded. And I have all the rest of them. I have all the other like 720 Pokemon except for Manaphy. For whatever reason. I have Fione, which is really strange because you can get a Fione by breeding a Manaphy with like a Ditto. And it creates a Fione. But Fione doesn't actually evolve into a Manaphy. Which is such a screwy situation. It makes me super pissed off. And when I found out about that, I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Why do I have a Pokemon that derives from another Pokemon, but can't actually evolve into that Pokemon? It just seems so stupid. It's almost like somebody was kicking me because they were like, Manaphy is the one and true only like mother type Pokemon, and all the rest are children. The children are common, but the mother is rare. Kind of like an ant thing. Ant is common, but an ant queen is not. It's a really strange concept. Which I'm kind of stoked about getting Manaphy, but that's not until like the summer, which makes me a little bit irritated because it's a ways away. But on the plus side, everybody gets their damn Mune. And finally, a Gen 6 Arceus, which I know a bunch of people have been waiting for that, considering the plates are in Gen 6, but you couldn't actually get Arceus through in Gen 6 at all. Like, you did it in, like, previous generations from an event, and just transferred all the way up, and trade, and so forth. Which, that's how I got my Arceus, was via trading. Which is really strange, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like 80% of the legendaries that are out there are like fake, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine. And bank checks run them all and everything. I question bank sometimes. I'm wondering if people are actually designing like fake Pokemon to bypass bank. But I can't verify that because, well, I just don't know. It is Pokemon Bank, and I hope to God that their system is designated to catch all non-legendary Pokemon. Sorry, all legendary Pokemon that we're not supposed to have. Like, if they are hacked or whatever. But, unfortunately, I haven't heard anything, like, new on those updates. That was originally the idea behind it, was to try to filter them out finally. But I don't know if somebody has cracked that, and Bank just hasn't updated to validate that hack. Me, on the other hand, some of my Pokemon I think are kind of questionable, but they pass through Bank just fine, and that's why I'm just like, well, whatever. It's kind of like having that friend in school who's just like, want a Mew? And you're just like, sure. And then they have like a shiny Japanese Mew or something like that, and you're just like, oh, that's kind of cool. So legit? And they're like, yeah, it's legit. And then you pass it through Bank, and it passes it by flying colors. And you're just like, alright, cool, it's pretty legit. And then you question, was this really legit? Or did somebody figure a way around it? Which I really don't know. It's not for me to know. You know, at least when I get my Mew this time around, I will be like, yeah, this is 100% legit. Sounds good. Now, the big thing is going to be is how many people are actually going to reset their damn games to try to get a shiny Mew. And is it possible to get Mew shiny in this from this event? That's what I really want to know. Can you get a shiny Mew? You know, if you're one of those individuals that did, go ahead and make a comment in the box, because I'm really curious. You know, but otherwise, you know, who knows? Getting a little bit away from Pokemon, because this is a Square Enix game. This has very little to do with Nintendo. I'm just kind of curious, like, I'm really curious, like, what is actually the best mechanic of this game? Me personally, I think the best mechanic of this game is the customizable characters. Because anybody can be anything, as long as you put them to the vault. Truth be told, we all know that Cloud's kind of a damage dealer, and Eric is more like a healer. We got that. But the problem is that when you assign roles, they're like default roles. You don't necessarily have to have them be the roles. Because when I play through my next playthrough, I'm probably going to designate all sorts of screwed up situations. Like, I don't want Aerith to be necessarily the healer. Her limits make it so. More than likely what's going to happen in my next playthrough is I might just keep her on her level 2 limit break, so she can use Fury Brand, like, all the time. Because Fury Brand is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Being able to fill up other characters' limit gauges is kind of cool. But then again, the biggest issue with that also, again, is that, guess what? She turns into a support character. All of her limits don't really do anything, like, damage-wise. if you really look at her level 1s, you get Healing Wind and Seal Evil. Seal Evil does, like, seals a creature, basically stops it. Not that big of a deal. And Healing Wind obviously just heals the entire party. But when you get to level 2, you have her other limits, one of which, I'm trying to remember exactly what it does. I think it, like, makes your party invincible. It's been a while since I looked at this, actually. I'm kind of curious what it's called. Breath of Earth. Cures all status ailments of all allies. Doesn't actually heal the party. And then level 3 makes all allies invincible one time and fully restores all allies. So we have more healing and more invincibility, and then we have fully restores allies, makes them invincible one time. Yeah. Great idea. Now, it's an all support character. And the funny thing is when you play through the game, when you're progressing through, you have a support character for a majority of the game. When you're, like, traveling around, and then they take that support away. And if you have completely relied on that character the entire time, it's basically equivalent to having a parental figure almost holding your hand. If you use her. Mind you, you don't have to use her. For the sake of my next playthrough, I'm probably going to avoid using Aerith all that much again, because, I mean, you technically don't need Aerith to be, like, really all that great in the game. Yay, Elemental was born, and I don't care about it. Who is that on? That's on you. Okay. And let's be perfectly honest. My material has been totally messed up. Am I really just waiting on that one? Wow. Yep, just waiting on that one. Which is like another 40 battles or so. Mind you, this will be a lot faster later on in the game when I get triple growth. So it'll go 1.5 times faster to level up characters and so forth. I'm also kind of excited when All actually is born, because I just want that damn thing off me. So, the next topic I want to bring up, because my video is almost up, is items. So, many of you who are familiar with like RPG logic and everything else like that believe that you have an item bag, okay? An item bag apparently can carry all of the weapons that you've ever had, all the armor that you've ever had, and so forth. And without any dire consequence, you could, you know, carry items up to 99 of something, you know, of numerous items. This is a really strange idea. I don't know if you came up with it, but it's very interesting. I know other RPGs with a little bit more restrictive ideas definitely make you pick and choose. In particular, there's Pokemon. I keep on bringing up Pokemon. Pokemon used to have a restrictive item bag. which now it doesn't, which is fine. But other RPGs, very successful RPGs, also have this restriction. Mind you, this was really popular in Final Fantasy IV, and it's one of the reasons why I really don't like 4. It's because you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take like 99 potions with me, and we're just gonna wreck the world, you know? No. You get to take 10. And you're sitting there like, why only 10? Well, because it's all you get. It's a very, very convoluted system. I never quite understood why they did this, other than like memory restrictions for the original Final Fantasy IV. I'm just going out here to sell some Phoenix Downs, because selling Phoenix Downs is what I do. Oops, don't know why. So, Phoenix Downs. All but one. Just using the one as a placeholder. So, but the item bag, the craziest invention ever, especially when you're dealing with the unlimited supply item bag, where you can have however many, whatever. Some games don't actually technically restrict only the 99, some allow up to 100, some allow up to 255, some just allow you to keep accumulating, or some are weight-based, or, you know, otherwise noted, anything else, you know, like, people who played the Resident Evil franchise understand what I mean by restrictive inventory, especially like people who are familiar with Resident Evil 4, where you could move stuff around to better utilize how many items you could actually put in your box. It's like, oh yeah, I'm basically playing, you know, suitcase Tetris, which was an interesting concept. But realistically, there's no way you should be able to hold, if you're carrying around 99 of any item. There's just no reason or no how. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, could you imagine carrying around 99 potions? I mean, even if potions were only like an ounce, or, you know, yeah, and it takes 16 ounces to make a pound, you know, you're carrying quite a lot. You're carrying close to 10 pounds in potions. That's just potions. That's not including your armor, that's not including your weapon, that's not carrying, that's not even listing off everything else. And I'll use an explanation from this game. Let's say you have Cloud Sword, okay? You don't necessarily have the exact sword, you have one of those off-brand ones that are kind of big nevertheless, okay? Carrying around 10 of those, okay? Assuming that these swords are considered more or less like a great sword, weighing roughly about 8 pounds apiece, you're carrying 80 pounds of swords. That's a lot. You know, and who's carrying this? Your party that isn't there? Is that all they're carrying? Why are they carrying this? You know, same thing with money. Money is a big thing. Some RPGs consider gold to be weightless, others give it weight, and in my opinion, money weighs money, or weighs a lot. In particular, especially if you're carrying so much, okay? Now, if there was something like a bank or something like that, they automatically get transferred to, or has an explanation of the sort, that would make a little bit more sense. But I'm going to point this out. The amount of money I have right now is what? 1.74. So 1.7 million gil. The question is, why do I have this much? Well, I just been accumulating it. Why am I not overburdened by money? I don't know, because money's weightless in this game. Okay, what does money actually do for you? Well, it allows me to buy items like weapons, armor, materia in some cases, nights at inns, drinks. You do get to buy food in this game too. It allows you to play games at Gold Saucer. It allows you to do a lot of other things. In particular, like buy a place in Costa del Sol, which eventually I will be doing that. It won't be that extravagant of a video. When I do it, I'm going to probably do it at the beginning of the video, but there's no guarantee on that. Considering as I progress through the game, I'm going to have to buy more and more like durable armor, which is really funny because I don't know. This goes back into my card playing history a little bit. When you buy new armor and weapons, they're generally better than what you previously had, making whatever you had previously pretty much worthless. It's a type of power creep, as I would call it. But almost every single RPG uses this mechanic, for the most part. Final Fantasy VII, on the other hand, does it in an interesting way that the strongest weapon isn't necessarily the best weapon. Okay? With the materia growth system, which is very important because all the ultimate weapons in the game don't have any growth. Because that's really important to remember. None of the ultimate weapons have any growth from materia. That means if you're gonna go fight a boss, and hey, look, all the alt was born. If you're gonna go fight a boss, then you don't necessarily need it. Which some people will be like, what do you mean you don't need it? You don't need it. Okay. Man, this is a tough decision. All these alls. We're just gonna take 3 more alls, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take a counterattack. How close are we? More or less. I'm not actually gonna take one of those. I am actually going to take I guess another cover. I don't know. Gives me a little bit more vitality. Why not? But yeah, there isn't really a purpose for it. Now, carrying that much stuff is just kind of weird, and having that power creep makes it even more annoying. But every game actually does it. Final Fantasy VII does it in a particular manner. Also, not just with the ultimate weapons, but also the not-so-great weapons. Like the weapons that I'm currently having are double growth weapons. They're okay strong, but they use double growth to materia, which is great. You know, makes leveling up materia kind of useful. But then they also have triple growth weapons later on. For a select few characters, which that is immensely important because triple growth for something that you would normally only get a one-time growth, that means when you go clear one of these battles and you get like 150, AP points, double would take it up to 300 and triple would bring it up to 450. Obviously basic math. So you're looking at 3 times growth. When you're doing a number of battles that you have to do, like you need 1500 AP points to go from one level to the next. That is the difference between sitting through 15 battles or 7 to 8 battles to 5 battles. Okay. It's basic math there, which is really good. They made it simple. Okay. The other thing about this game, why I like it so much, is because the customizable combinations. All is one of the more interesting ones. As a support material, it's not the best. Okay. But describing it in a form that people can understand it, all attached to any magic materia causes you to be able to cast it on all targets for the number of times that you actually have leveled up your all materia, which if you have it to max, you get to do it up to 5 times on all targets, either allies or enemies. Not that great of a deal. But then when you actually add in to the scenario of other materia, when with it, let's say all is attached to a restore, and then you have HP absorb attached to a restore, and then you have an MP absorb to a restore, and you have a MP turbo with an absorb, or to a restore, sorry, not, well, whatever, you know what I meant. What ends up happening is, when you use that spell for Cure, which is a restore magic, on that character, what will happen is, you will restore your health, like, to whichever target that you targeted, more likely the entire party, so each person is healed, then you are healed, because of the HP absorb. Then your MP is restored, because of the MP absorb. And the effects of heal are enhanced because of MP turbo. Now, if you do it right, and you have mastered MP turbo, HP absorb, and MP absorb, what will happen is your characters will all be healed very, well, a lot. And the character who used it will probably most likely be healed to full. Now, that doesn't mean that they will automatically be at full. It just means that they will be getting quite a bit. Okay, I'm looking for something to put on this guy. Choices. Honestly, I'm just gonna take it off. Alright. So I did that. I'm probably going to be wrapping up the video here after this battle. Join me next time, which probably won't be very long from now. It may be only a few minutes, really, because I just need to go take care of something real quick. Where I actually do this battle, too. And as you can kind of see, when I get out of this battle, I'm going to check my level, which I am level 90, with Aerith at 86 and Yuki at 89. I gained a whole whopping, 3 levels, so in an hour. Pretty boring. Alright, until next time. Thank you for watching. And here I go to save. Woo.